Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee. I've got several things to do today. It's only like 34 degrees outside and it's raining and snowing, and it's like, you know what? I have planned the last 2 days to get into the greenhouse and start transplanting stuff, but there's no way. I'm not going to go outside in this. I'm going to utilize this time to do the stuff I need to get done in the house. You see all the brown berry bread sitting on my counter there? I'm turning that all into peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for my grandkids because they love them. But I just pulled them out of the freezer, so those need to thaw out. But here, friends, I've got a load of celery and peppers and some scallions in my freeze dryer. I just did a gallon of milk too yesterday. 2 gallons the day before. My freeze dryer's been running all week nonstop. Anyway, Tracy brought me onions. All these beautiful onions. She's like, well, we went to Feeding America, and she says nobody wanted the onions, so they gave me extras, and I took them because I knew you'd freeze dry them. So that's what we're gonna do. I got a nice bunch. I'll freeze dry them because we'll use them, and that way if somebody needs some, I'll give them to them freeze dried, you know. So I'm just gonna, cause these need to be taken care of like ASAP. They're starting to grow, but they're still good. So we're just gonna go ahead and peel these up. I'll chat with you a little bit while I do this. Train them. And then I'm going to just soak them in a little bit of water because they weren't in the refrigerator. Of course, if they're not, they'll make you cry, you know. Well. Okay, now we can get this because there's a... There we go. Yeah, I want to do a couple of casseroles today. One for tonight for dinner and one for later. And I had to get some of this stuff out of my freezer. My freezer's getting so full of freezer meals. So probably tomorrow I'm going to go into Manistee, and after my daughter gets out of work, and I'm going to take her some freezer meals for her freezer. And my son told me he doesn't need anything this time around. So I feel so sorry for my son. He was cutting down trees with his friend the other day, and he got into poison ivy, and he's got it all over his arms, his chest, his, you know, his legs. He says it's everywhere. He says, and I'm just miserable itching. So, but they gave him some stuff for it, so that's a good thing. Now, some of these onions aren't the greatest, but we're going to salvage what we can, you know. And then I'll freeze dry them, and they'll be fine. The last few times, and I'm not dissing Feeding America, but the last few times they've come through, the produce that they've handed out to people has been like within a day of going bad. And I just wanted to tell them, what's going on? Why would you do that, you know? Just because people are poor doesn't mean they, you know, can eat rotten food, or, you know, you want something to last them. What's going on? I don't know if this one's any good at all. Maybe. Find out. I'm going to save, well, I might not, because some of this is bad. I was planning to save this for, some of this for my beef broth, my beef bone broth, which we got to get that made. I need to get that done and get that on the shelf. Then it's more room in my freezer. These onions are stout, friends. Ooh. I think I need to sharpen my knife. I do. Hang on a minute. I hate sharpening my knife on that rod sharpener. I like the one that you sharpen the iron, the sharpening iron, the rod. That thing, that rod one is like running your fingernails down a chalkboard. Ugh. I have one. I just got it. It's in my pantry. I should have went and grabbed it. Those sharpen your knives nicely. Well, we'll get this going, and I'll get this all ready because my peppers and onions, and you'll see I'm going to show you that. My peppers and onions they'll be done this afternoon. They'll be ready to come out of there. And I'll show you how that looks. And you're going to love them. I'm going to plan on doing some vegetable flakes. I'm going to put them together for my market stand. And a lot of times your vegetable flakes are dehydrated, but I'm going to do the freeze-dried. I'm going to do them freeze-dried, and I think that would turn out nicely. And it lasts a lot longer than the dehydrated. Well, come on off there. There we go. They're looking okay. There's just like the first layer needed to come off. But I'm not throwing these out because I can save quite a bit. I mean, they're not moldy and rotten. They're just getting a little soft. So this makes a bit of a mess, but that's all right. I'm going to get them cut in half and peeled, and my eyes are starting to water. And then I'm just going to soak them in some water. And then I'll come through and chop them. I think it would work better that way. This will make a nice one. I'm out of freeze-dried onions. The ones I freeze-dried before, I cut a bunch of them up. Look at my eyes, they're just watering. I cut a bunch of them up for the freezer. So I got a bunch of onions in the freezer, which is nice to have, but I don't have any freeze-dried. And if somebody needs some, because of course these came from Feeding America, I don't usually keep this stuff, but I'll keep it before it goes to waste. And I'll preserve it, you know. You never know who's going to come over and say, oh, I'm out of onions. Tracy might tell me she's out of onions. We're supposed to have our market stand up and running. We usually put it up on the 1st of May, but man, it's too cold out there. Way too cold out there. I'm not messing with that until this weekend. After Wednesday, oh, that one's really moldy. After Wednesday, maybe this one isn't. It's going to be in the 60s and 70s. So by this weekend, we'll have the market stand up and going. And I'm going to do my breads and stuff and get all my stuff put together for that. My labels came in, so I labeled my granola and my snack mix. I got to do my jumbo chocolate chip cookies. We're going to do those today in this video. This might be a bit of a lengthy video, and I'm sorry, but you know, I'm going to try and get everything done at once. I want to do a couple of casseroles, and oh, my eyes are burning, friends. These are wicked. Whew. All right. So I figured I would just yak with you a little bit until I get this done. I'll go through this, and I might save the, you know, the skins on the outside, because that is what colors your broth and just gives it beautiful caramel color. Okay, come on. We're not messing around this day. I gotta stop here a minute. Ooh. And then I'll cut the rest of them up. I told you a little bit of what's going on. Chit-chat a little bit. So I'll soak those in water. And yeah. I'll be back when I get these done. Now I'm gonna get these ready. And the brown berry sandwiches, they love this sandwich bread. It's a whole grain. I love to give that to them. And it's a little pricier, but it's good for them and they love it, you know. So I always buy these, and I got like 6 packages, because when my daughter's kids eat these, they'll eat 1 package at a time. These won't last them very long at all. So it works pretty good, and they like Jif. They don't care what kind of jelly they got in there, but they like their Jif. So I'm just going to whip these out and yak with you while I do that. I mean, we all know how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but it gives me a second to get this done and talk with you, do a little chit chat. I might have one of these with a cup of coffee. My husband loves peanut butter, only my husband eats peanut butter and mayonnaise. Oh, I couldn't do it. I don't care for peanut butter and mayonnaise. He loves it. Miracle Whip. I'm a mayonnaise, he's a Miracle Whip. I got all these to do, so you know what? I'm going to concentrate on this, get this done, and then we'll move on to our cookies. And then after we get our cookies done, we're going to do a couple casseroles, because I'm going to do one for now, one for later type thing, you know. So I'm just going to fast forward this, put some music to it, and you guys enjoy. Got them done. I got 3 nice bags, and I saved these. These are, I throw the cardboard, well, I don't throw it out, I use cardboard for my starter on my fire pit, but I save these plastic bags because they'll hold 12 sandwiches each. That's nice. So, oh, let me wipe that off. I'll show you what I got. You know, love putting those in your freezer, because those are nice to have for your grandkids or your kids' busy days, whatever. Let's wipe this up, and I'll show you all the peanut butter and jelly brown berry sandwiches I put together. I would love to make that bread. I'm telling you, I need to figure it out. It's a nice, thin, crustless sandwich bread. I bet we could make it. It might take me a minute to figure it out. Oh, I'll dry my hands. Okay. I went through half a bottle of strawberry and a half a bottle of grape. And look at those, they're nice. Now I can get these in the freezer, and they'll be all ready for her. Let's see, PB and strawberry. There, they'll be all ready for her. And her kids love it. My grandkids love these. So I'm gonna go put these in my freezer, and we'll come back and get our onions all chopped up. Okay, I got the sandwiches done, everything cleaned up. Now I'm gonna chop these up really quick, and I'm just gonna leave these in a bowl because, friends, when I cut these onions up, I don't blanch them for the freeze dryer. I just cut them up and I fling them on the trays and I freeze dry them. So I'm just gonna slice these. And that's it. All I'm gonna do. Slice them up and I fling them on the trays. Because what I got in there now is almost ready. It's still going a little bit. And I know when that's done, it'll be done. I won't have to do any more dry time on it. And I'll show you how they look. They turn out nice. I want to put together, you know, my husband and I were talking this morning, and I'm looking for the bulk vegetable flakes. I make my own that I use just for my personal use. But I was looking for some bulk ones that I could make, or that I could, you know, package up and sell in my market stand. But they're just way too pricey. And my husband, he's like, why don't you just make your own? And I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. So I know what all goes in them. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're just going to work on making our own. And I'll bring you along with me when we make those so that you guys, you can make them in a dehydrator too. You can even dehydrate them in your oven. So you might, you know, those of you who might like those vegetable flakes, we'll make our own. And it should be fairly easy. I don't think I'm going to freeze dry them though. I think I'm going to dehydrate them. And I got my Kaleva dehydrator, so I could do that, you know. And it might take me a couple, I might have to do more than, you know, 3-4 loads of it. But I'll get it done, and then I'll have them to package up and sell. I don't like that right there. Yeah, we can slice these real quick. Get these done and out of the way. I might need a bigger bowl. I'm gonna have a lot of freeze-dried onions, friends. I should set some of these aside and dehydrate some of these. I think I will. I can dehydrate them for the I had something in my eye. I can dehydrate these for the vegetable flakes. Some of them anyway. Goes pretty quick.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. for sleep. Hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Last one. I'm glad this is done. This will be nice to have these freeze dried, and then some of them I'll put in the Kaleva to dehydrate. All right. All right. Perfect. Let me put these out in the fridge and I shall return. Okay. I'm out of chocolate chips. Well, I've got a little bit left, but I always want to do a double, sometimes triple batch. So I have to wait for my husband to get home from Manistee to get chocolate chips. So what we'll make is the next on my list would be my oatmeal raisin cookies, which I sell a lot of, and I also make those jumbo size. So you'll see that. So we're going to get started with that right now. Now I will put this is an awesome recipe, and I'm doubling it, so I will put the single, the recipe for a single batch in the description box. But keep in mind when you're watching me with my measuring cups and spoons that I am doubling mine, okay? So we're gonna do 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. Okay, my sugar's all crammed in there. Also going to do the same amount of white sugar, 1.5 cups. Okay, so now so you can see me well, we're going to move these over here. We're also going to put 4 sticks of butter in here. Come on. And we'll cream this together. And while we're creaming this together, we'll mix up our flour, our salt, and our baking soda. So that's all ready to go too. These are easy to make. Oh, these sell like crazy in my market stand. These are good for bake sales too. And the jumbo size sell really good. I would always have both out there, the jumbo size cookies and the, you know, the regular size. And it seemed like it was always my jumbo cookies that would fly right off that shelf. Okay, so we're just gonna turn that on. It's probably not too loud yet. I can do this. So we're going to do 3 cups of flour. and you want it level. And you do want your butter softened. Okay? Okay, and we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And we're also going to do, it calls for 2 teaspoons of salt, but half of my butter is salted, so I'm only going to do 1 teaspoon. And we're just going to whisk this together. And set that aside. Okay. Okay, and that's creamed together pretty good. So to that, we're going to add our vanilla, which is going to be 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we're going to crack 4 eggs into here. And we're just going to turn that, we're just going to turn this on low and let those mix as we're adding them. Okay? Okay, the 4th one's in there. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Okay, so to that we're going to add our 5 cups of oats. And I'm using rolled oats. Yes, you can use the quick oats. If I can get it open. Mine calls for 5 cups. Okay, so we got that. I am also going to put 2 cups of coconut. And I'm using the sweetened flaked coconut. I want that mixed in really good, that's why I'm adding that now. I'm going to give that a quick mix and then we'll add our flour mix. It'll break that coconut up. Okay, now I'm just going to slowly add my flour to that, half at a time. Alright, let's ready for the rest. Okay, we'll let that mix for a minute. Okay, now with this, you can do cranberries. You can also add nuts in here. I am just using raisins because I got my cranberries in my granola. So I like to have somewhat of a variety. And I'm going to do 2 cups of these raisins. And there's just a little over 2 cups in here. Let me see. Put this out. I'm getting them everywhere. These are real soft, beautiful raisins. Pick them up. Okay. Actually, mine is 4 cups of raisins. I'm sorry. 2 cups is a single batch. So I'm going to put about half of this box in there. Not quite half, because there's about 2.5 cups in each box. So that'll be good right there. Alright, now I'll put this back down and we'll mix this. So it's all mixed in nice. Okay, that's mixed up. Now, I'm going to bake a couple of these off so that you can see how nicely they turn out. We're going to preheat our oven. Cancel. Bake, not broil. Okay. We gotta take my trays out of here. Yes, I store all my trays in my oven. Okay. We got that one there. Because when I freeze them, then in my market stand, I don't have them all baked up at once. I can bake them as I need them, which is really nice. We're going to scrape that off there. This is a wonderful recipe, friends. These are big and chewy and beautiful. Okay. Look at how nice that is. Wait till you see how good these turn out. Okay. All I do, I can get that out of there, is a 1/4 cup measure, and I do a 1/4 cup at a time. And that, sometimes it takes a bit to get them out of there. But that's all right. We got this covered too. There. 1/4 cup will make 1 jumbo cookie. I'm going to put them close together because these ones are for the freezer. And when that oven heats up, we'll put a couple of them in the oven. My husband loves them, so he'll be more than happy to eat them and tell you how they taste. I just shape them a little bit. Nothing fancy. They're going to spread all around anyway. They're going to be huge. And when you bake these on your tray, you're only going to want to bake about 5, maybe 5 to 6 cookies on your tray, depending on how big your cookie tray is, because they will be the size of your hand. They will be big. I have these out when my friends come. I've got a couple of friends that always come over and have coffee with me. So I always know they're coming too. And I'll preheat that oven and I'll get either chocolate chip or, you know, these ones or something out. And I'll bake a few of them up, and oh my goodness, they love coming for coffee and a cookie and some chit chat. Okay, now see, these are beautiful. Wow. These are beautiful. And I'm just going to put plastic on them and put them in the freezer. Okay, I'm going to get these ready to bake. Wow. I'll be able to bake 4 of them on here. And the oven is ready. So we'll get this last one ready here. Okay, now these are going to go in a 350-degree oven for anywhere from 18 to 20 minutes. If you bake these from frozen, which is perfectly fine, that's what I do, they will bake between 20 and 25 minutes, and that's frozen. So when those are all done, I'll show you how wonderful they turn out and we'll taste them. In the meantime, I'm going to finish these. Okay, these are wrapped and ready for the freezer. So when these are frozen solid, I'll take them out and I'll put them in Ziploc bags, and that way I can take out just as many as I need for my market stand to have fresh baked cookies every few days in there. These ones, this, friends, is how they turn out. I'll show you this beautiful cookie. See the size of it? It is like the size of your hand. And I've got big hands, and these are gorgeous. I'll show you how they look on the inside. This cookie is still beautiful and warm. And look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So, I'll take a bite. I'll taste this. I need my coffee to do that. All right. I know how these taste. I made them before. They're wonderful. Make sure you give this a try, because you'll love these. And you can keep them in your freezer too. I'm going to go put these away. That cookie is delicious. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee and have the rest of my cookie with coffee. And then we got casseroles to make. Okay, friends, we are going to make our casseroles. One for now, one for later. So I want to make my cream of chicken soup. I'm going to get all this off here. Okay, we're going to start melting this. I'm going to do, because I'm doing 2 casseroles, I'm going to double this. So I'm going to do an equivalent of 4 cans of, goodness sakes, 4 cans of cream of chicken soup. And I got my lovely, I love this great big thing. All right, I'm going to throw this out like that's starting to melt. And for those who haven't seen this yet, this is so easy to do. You do, it's like making a white sauce or a roux. I'm using 12 tablespoons, 3/4 cups of butter, and 3/4 cups of flour. You always want to use the same amount of flour and butter. And then I'm going to use my home canned my home canned chicken broth. I've got cream soup on the brain, and I'm going to use half and half. So this is going to take just a minute to get this melted. Okay, this is almost ready. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sprinkle the flour in there. Get that mixed around because you want to cook that flour taste out. So you're going to need to let it cook for just a little bit and get all that flour taste out of there. Okay, so that's going to cook for a minute. While that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and open our chicken broth. And my half and half's ready to go. While that's going, I'm going to also put a little bit of garlic in here. Actually, about a half teaspoon. I'm going to do pepper in here, minus some peppercorns. And we'll get to mixing that up. That flour's starting to cook out of there. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to need 2 cups of chicken broth. And I'm going to also use 2 cups of half and half. Okay, and we're just going to mix that up, and that's going to get thick and beautiful like a homemade cream soup, and that's what it is. You could add bits of chicken to this and make, you know, the soup for lunch. You can do this with mushroom soup. This is wonderful. You can do this with asparagus and celery, and you can make a lot of homemade cream soups. Okay, now this is going to cook for a little bit until it starts to thicken up, because it's going to need to come back up to a boil in order for it to begin to thicken. So I'll be back when that's thick. Okay, this is doing really good, friends. It's thickening up, so I'm going to let this cool down just a little bit, and because the one casserole is going to go in the freezer, the other one's going to go in the oven, so I'm going to just let this cool down just a little bit, and we'll put our casseroles together. Okay, friends, I got the Big Daddy bowl out. Dear Mr. Wayna saying hi. We're going to do, I got this recipe from my Amish friend. So I'm going to do 1 casserole for our dinner and 1 casserole for the freezer for another meal. Anyway, I will put the recipe in the description box, but remember, I'm doubling this. So I'm going to use 4 cups of cooked chicken. Okay? And some of it's shredded and some of it's cubed. It doesn't matter. I'll break up a couple of these bigger pieces. And this is all white meat. You can use dark meat if you want. It doesn't matter. We have one all over. Okay. And I've got my homemade cream of chicken soup that we put together. So that's all going to go in here. It's still a little warm. I had to wait till it cooled off some. Scrape that pan out. You don't want to waste none of that wonderful stuff. Okay. And let's see, this is supposed to be really good. It calls for like a 1/2 medium onion chopped up. I'm going to use 2 handfuls of my freeze-dried scallions because Mr. Wayna can eat these just fine. I'm also going to put a little bit of parsley in here. Nice big handful. Probably a couple tablespoons. I'm not going to use salt in there because I've got, I'm going to use it, I'm going to use all that pepper. I'll have to get more. That was about 2 good teaspoons of pepper. Yeah, that'll be nice in there. Okay, so to that, we're going to add 4 cups of raw macaroni. And you can freeze this macaroni uncooked. It won't hurt it at all. Okay? This is going to be a nice one. Then we're also going to put in you can put vegetables any kind you want. Any kind. I'm just going to do some mixed vegetables because those are the nicest. I'm going to put about 2 cups worth in there. I think that will be, 2 cups worth. But you could use broccoli. You could use anything you want. Then we're going to do 2 cups of cheese. And 1 handful. There's 1 cup the world around, right? Ah! Okay. And a pinch for good measure. There we go. So after that, we're going to pour in 4 cups of milk. And we're going to mix this all together. And I've got everything in here. Get this all mixed in really good. And it's going to be rather soupy. You see that? It's going to be real soupy. It needs to be because of the raw macaroni. So don't be afraid of that. And that milk and all that stuff in there will freeze just fine without being cooked. You can cook it. But you know, when you cook that macaroni again, it might change the texture when it's heated up. That's why I like to do a lot of these casseroles uncooked first, unbaked. Okay, so we got that mixed up really good. All right, we're just going to start putting that in our 2 pans. I've got 2 of them right here. I'm going to spray the one that I'm going to bake. I don't like to spray them when they go in the freezer. I don't know why. I just don't like that. But the one that's going to bake in the oven is the one I'll spray. Then I got a little bit of butter for the tops. So let's see here. We can use this for the solids. And we'll divvy this up beautiful into 2 casseroles. And then I'll pour the liquid between the 2. Liquid that's left anyway. Okay. Now, scrape this great big bowl. Don't want to waste anything. Okay. See how easy that is to put together? Oh my heavens, I love that. I love easy meals. Let me wipe this up. Look at how nice those look. Now we're going to take, we're going to mix them around a little bit here. Clean it out. And I got some butter that I'm going to just put on the top of this. Same with this one. This is my sprayed one, so this one's going to set aside. I'm going to put just a little bit of butter on the top. Okay, so I say it every time. I hate being short. I'm only 5'2". My friend says, "You're 2 foot nothing." Yeah, that's about it. This one's going to go in the oven. And I do have to set my oven to 350. Okay? And then this is going to go in there and it's going to bake. Oh, I got that crooked on there. It's going to bake for about an hour and a half. Okay. You can bake these from frozen as well, but they're going to bake for about 2.5 hours. Or you can thaw it out in your refrigerator overnight and of course bake it for your hour and a half at 350. I think I'm going to give this one to my daughter. I think she'll like that. My son hates chicken. I can't make anything that's chicken for my son. He hates it. So we're going to label that one. And she calls this Chicken Supreme. Chicken Supreme Casserole. Thank you, Alice. Bake at 350 for 1 to 1.5 hours. Perfect. I'll wrap that one in plastic wrap. The other one's going to go in the freezer. I'm going to set it on a tray just so it doesn't just in case it overflows. It's the easiest way to work with it. Alright, so the oven's got to continue to heat. This, I'm going to set these down here, they're not hot. I'll get this wrapped up and put in the freezer. And then when that is done, I'll bring it back and I'll show you how nice they turn out. And that will be the end of our video today. I got all my stuff that I didn't do my chocolate chip cookies, but that's all right. I can still get them to them before the end of the week. All right, so this is all ready for the freezer. I'm going to go run that out to the freezer. My daughter's husband is coming to pick up the kids' peanut butter sandwiches that we made earlier. So I'm going to send this home for them for their dinner. So I'll probably put it in the refrigerator outdoors. Or out in my sun porch. So I'll be back, friends, when this is baked and ready for dinner. Okay, friends, our casserole is done. we're going to open this up. And it's screaming hot right out of the oven. Look at how beautiful it turned out. Oh, it's just steaming. It's got steam. Oh, this looks gorgeous. Look at how nice that looks. Now you could put cheese on top of it. We're not gonna because there's cheese inside. I'm gonna show this to you. Then we'll taste it. Take a look at that. Those great big noodles and that elbow macaroni. That's so good. I'll serve Mr. Wayna some. Oh, look at how nice that turns out. And look, I'm going to show you the little crispies from the bottom. Almost looks burnt in the camera, but it's not. It's dark brown. Oh, they're just wonderful. Take a look at that. All right. We'll give this a try. Oh, those noodles are done really nice, too. It smells so good. My whole house smells good from this. Mmm. Mm-hmm. That is good. And that homemade cream of chicken soup, you can't beat it. You could make this with cream of mushroom too, homemade or canned. Any canned cream soup. This would also be good with like cream of chicken and cream of celery mixed together, or the same with cream of mushroom. What a wonderful casserole. All right, friends, we're going to go and have our dinner. We hung out together. We had a little bit of a chit-chat. Get ready. Tomorrow, you're going to see a chit-chat, and I'll explain all our adventures from going to Shipshewana. You all have a wonderful day, and thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen, and I'll see you in the next video.